I got us tickets to a Prince concert, don't you know? I think that's how and why it's happening. An apparent atheist was surprised by the response that he got from Andrew WK. You know, let's get a party going, party till we puke, that guy. He wrote to him. Andrew WK has a sort of advice column in the Village Voice in New York City. And this atheist guy wrote to him asking for help to convince family that prayer is mumbo jumbo. He wrote, "My older brother was diagnosed with cancer last week. My whole family's freaking out and trying to deal with the news. Everyone is trying to find different ways to help, but something my grandmother said has really got me angry. She said we should all just pray for my brother, like prayer would actually save his life. She said we should all just pray for my brother, like this prayer would actually save his life. I got into a fight with my grandmother and the rest of my family about this, and now I feel worse than ever. I need to get them to see that praying and religious mumbo jumbo doesn't help. It's not what we need right now." And Andrew WK, party till we puke, that guy, hit the nail on the head with regard to spirituality in a way that I'm not sure I've ever heard or seen done before. He wrote saying that he was deeply sorry about the brother's diagnosis, but tried to explain that the idea of praying is a lot less complicated and a lot more powerful and a little different than you may realize. He said, prayer is a type of thought. It's a lot like meditation, a type of very concentrated mental focus with passionate emotion directed toward a concept or a situation or the lack thereof. But there's a special X factor ingredient that makes prayer different than meditation or other types of thought. That X factor is humility. This is the most seemingly contradictory aspect of prayer and what many people dislike about the feeling of praying. Getting down on your knees. Getting down on your knees is not about lowering your power or being a weakling. It's about showing respect for the size and grandeur of what we call existence. It's about being humble in the presence of the vastness of life, space, and sensation, and acknowledging our extremely limited understanding of what it all really means. Being humble is very hard for many people because it makes them feel unimportant and it makes them feel helpless. To embrace our own smallness is not to say we're dumb or that we don't matter, but to realize how amazing it is that we exist at all in the midst of so much more. To be fully alive, we must realize how much else there is besides ourselves. We must accept how much we don't know and how much we still have to learn about ourselves and the whole world. Kneeling down and fully comprehending the incomprehensible is the physical act of displaying our respect for everything that isn't us. Yeah, this is the king of partying. It's pretty powerful stuff, huh? Anyways, he went on to say, many of us worked for years to build up our idea of the world and who we are in it. We've clung ever more tightly to the idea of what is true and what is false. We've toiled and schemed to get what we want, to be happy, and to gain the sense of security that comes with figuring things out and making it. We do that by building a better and stronger protective shell to shield us from the painful horrors of the unknown. They can be too painful to even imagine. After all those years of effort, simply abandoning our carefully crafted structures and stepping into the immense chasm of the uncharted and the unknowable. And now it's time to take it. And the advice he gives this guy is just incredible. He said, I want you to pray for your brother right now, as a gesture to your grandmother, who, if she didn't exist, neither would you. I want you to pray right now just for the sake of challenging yourself. I want you to find a place alone and kneel down against all your stubborn tendencies telling you not to. I want you to close your eyes and think of one concentrated thought. your brother. I want you to think of your love for him, your fear of him dying, your feeling of powerlessness, your feelings of anger and frustration, your feelings of confusion. You don't need to ask to get anything. You don't need to try and fix anything. You don't need to get any answers. Just focus on every moment you've ever had with your brother. Reflect on every memory from years ago and even from just earlier today. Let the feelings wash over you. Let the feelings take you away from yourself. Let them bring you closer to him. Let yourself be overwhelmed by the unyielding and uncompromising emotion of him until you lose yourself in it. Think about him more than you've ever thought about anyone before. Think about him more deeply and with more detail than you've ever thought about anything. Think about how incredible it is that you have a brother and that he exists at all. Focus on him until you feel like your soul is going to burst. Tell him in your heart, tell him in your soul that you love him. Feel that love pouring out of you from all sides. Then get up and go be with him and your family. And you can tell your grandmother that you prayed for your brother. I think if you're like me, if you have a certain fundamental mistrust of religion, specifically organized religion, or organizations in general, if you're like me, a logical, cynical thinker, if you're the type of person who questions what you're told, because questions are the enemy of religion, and if your questioning and your deductive reasoning and your intelligent thinking leads you to be at odds with what is commonly perceived as faith or religion or spirituality, understand this. Questions, logic, reasoning, they are what separates us from the monkeys. They are our gift that we've been giving. Our intelligence, our ability to deduce. It's why you find so many brilliant people struggling with faith and religion. The more intelligent you are, the less likely it is you're going to believe. And that's not to say people that do believe are stupid, but it's a much greater leap if you're an intelligent person, which I'm sure you are. But know this. Math, science, deductive reasoning, logic, they're a tremendous part of what makes us who we are, but they're not the whole of us. They're not the sum of us. To ignore the spiritual portion of what we are, who we are, this gray matter between our ears, not only gives us the ability to think and to logically sort through problems in a way that no other creature on this earth has, really. This ability that we have is only part of the equation. This brain that's between our ears also gives us a higher consciousness. And if you are at odds with organized religion in general, the idea of intelligent design, the idea of a creator, the idea of a higher power, this is probably the best advice you're ever going to get, spiritually speaking. Kneeling down and fully comprehending the incomprehensible is the physical act of displaying our respect for everything that isn't us. And until I saw that written down, I don't think I really ever understood my own spirituality. Like I said, spiritually searching, not necessarily that hard. But definitely feel like there's more. Things that we don't understand, things that we'll never understand, but things that are vast and powerful, and despite our lack of ability to comprehend or understand them, deserve our respect. So I'll say it again. Kneeling down and fully comprehending the incomprehensible is the physical act of displaying our respect for everything that isn't us. Like you. You're not me. And I respect you. And I thank you for hanging out and being part of my radio family. And make him a birthday. A genuinely special day. Appreciate you. Have yourself an awesome one. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it all over again.
Times you feel like it's cool to turn the other cheek and give people the benefit of the doubt even when they don't deserve it. And sometimes you feel good about yourself for being the better person and doing that. Well, this is not one of those times. I don't think you realize what's on my mind. I've been too nice for way too long.